Guys, welcome to my show. I've been recording a bunch of questions that were not answered by churches or not even shared, though they are existing very obviously in the Bible and clearly, but those verses are not being talked about and they're being ignored, maybe hidden. So I like to explore what is being tried to be hidden from us, because that becomes suspicious to me. In this video, we will be talking about a guy called Ananias who played a crucial role in identifying or witnessing Paul as a genuine, legit apostle of Jesus Christ. Okay? Now, keep at the back of your mind, before we go further, that Jesus never uttered the word Paul in the Bible. He's just not mentioned. Secondly, Paul's doctrine of saved by grace through faith and not by works, lest no man may boast, was rejected by Jesus for the simple reason he didn't utter the word grace also in the Bible. Neither did he use the criteria of faith or grace on the day of judgment. Matthew 25, 31, 46, goats and sheep, judgment day vision, or Revelation 20, 11, 15, judgment day vision. Both these visions do not concur with the doctrine of Paul. I do not know why this man was accepted. A bigger problem for Paul is this: he had no witnesses who saw his conversion. Nobody came forward. We know there was a group of murderers of Christians who were going to Damascus to bring back Christians who had fled the persecution of Paul, the murderer, blasphemer, by his own confessions. I won't go into that. I have recorded videos on that. Check in the description section. So these guys were going, and then Paul claimed suddenly Jesus appeared, especially he came back for him. And then he said, Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me? But there are no witnesses. Now I'll read out verses that are important to this, because Bible says very clearly, it was Deuteronomy 19:5, I believe, Moses, Jesus in Matthew, and Paul himself in 2 Corinthians, that every event has to be established by the witnesses of 2 or 3 people. Every fact has to be established. Who are your witnesses, Paul? You have nobody but yourself. Nobody came forward. 3 times he narrates this story, that what happened at his conversion. All 3 contradict himself in the book of Acts. More suspicion. But basically, he didn't have no witnesses. Nobody came forward. We need 2 or 3 witnesses, and that too reliable witnesses. We don't even have one. Okay? Taking this forward, now he goes blind by that light which strikes him, and he falls to the ground. And a man called Ananias sees a vision. Listen very carefully what happened. Ananias saw a vision of Jesus, and Jesus told him to go to a particular place, and this is happening in Acts 9. Question remains, like Jesus says, Moses says, now Old Testament, New Testament, and Paul says that every fact has to be established by witness of 2 or 3. Raj Sahu, I can claim Jesus is sitting next to me and he appeared. In fact, he tells me everything, and I am telling you. But your question should be, Raj Sahu, who are your witnesses? Who are the 2 or 3 reliable witnesses who have seen you sitting with Jesus or seen you having a vision? Suppose I say, I alone, you should rely on my witness. That's not allowed in Bible. Jesus says very clearly, if a person tries to testify for himself, his testifying is not acceptable. His witness for himself is not acceptable. Jesus knew all this will happen. Coming back to Ananias, Do you know something? There was a certain disciple at Damascus named Ananias. I'm reading the text. What happened? This is in Acts 9. Now, the problem is there was a certain disciple at Damascus named Ananias. The problem is with this line, we don't know anything about Ananias from either before or after this meeting with Saul or Paul. We know nothing about it. If there is anybody testifying for Ananias, it is Paul, who himself has failed to establish his vision. Do you see how evil this is getting and wicked? How the deception took place? Have you seen spy movies? No spies land who become a mole for a foreign power inside some other country. They're like Trojan horses. They typically enter with the help of other people. They're typically not alone. This man appears to be a sidekick, or the second in command, which Satan used for Paul to infiltrate. There had to be a witness. Alright, let's accept it. Ananias is a witness. But people like me, who are legally trained, in my mind, I have not been to colleges, but I read a lot about law and especially the Bible. I sift the Bible. It says clearly in Deuteronomy, Matthew, Jesus says, and even Paul says, every event has to be established by 2 or 3 witnesses. Ananias, who are your witnesses that you saw? Otherwise, 8 billion people on the planet, 8.5 now, billion people can claim the same thing. Oh, Jesus appeared to me in a vision and he said, so should we accept 8.5 billion different gospels? It is possible, at least on the paper. If not 8 billion, at least 8 million. That's much more probable. Because if you are relying on this kind of witnessing, this kind of doctrine which has no witness, this fact has not been established, exactly like Paul. And Paul is confounding the matter more by getting another witness who has nobody to testify that, yes, I saw Ananias, I saw that Jesus' apparition or something like that came upon him and he was. We don't know anything about this Ananias. Listen to it. Listen further and you will be shocked what happened. Now there was a certain disciple at Damascus named Ananias. We don't know anything about Ananias from either before this meeting with Paul or after this meeting with Paul. We don't know how he came to Damascus. In other words, we know nothing. Or what happened to him is even more confounding afterwards. This mystery man comes, identifies Paul, meets him, and says, I saw so and so man, Paul, praying in the house of Judas. And then he saw scales fall off him, but we don't know how he came to Damascus or what happened to him afterwards. Guys, this man, after he identifies Paul, sees the scales coming out of the snake's eyes, he vanishes into the blue. There is no trace of this man. He is not the Ananias, Sapphira's husband, who was killed by God himself. Could be or could be not. See, again I say, I have a legally trained mind. I do not allow speculations. I want concrete evidence in the scripture. It is not there. He could be or may not be Sapphira's husband. This man vanished into the blue. As he came out of a fog, he went away into the fog, left with us holding the baby. Paul the baby. Now you see what happened? We have still no evidence of Paul. It has not been established. He saw a vision of Jesus, neither Ananias. How did we accept Paul as an apostle? I'll leave it to you. Plus, grace was a word Jesus never uttered. Neither the doctrine of saved by grace through faith was used on the day of judgment. Matthew 25, 30 and 46. Revelation 20, 11, 15. Thank you guys for watching my video. I will keep asking questions which bother me, torment my heart and soul day and night. I put 410 videos already, and I intend to put more if life exists. If I'm still alive and capable, I will surely ask these questions which need to be addressed. Answers need to be provided by the churches, theologians, scholars. All right. Thank you, guys, and God bless you all.